up? And welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going. And make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. When you go to our website, you'll be able to see how you can follow the podcast there. You'll see all of our social media. It's all at the top of the website, whether you're on the phone or the computer. And you can click on it and follow us on Twitter, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok,
All
Facebook,
of the above.
YouTube, all that.
Yeah.
And if you're only watching this, you can listen to it on any of the apps. And if you're listening to it, you can watch it on Facebook and YouTube.
Yes, yes.
And you can share it with your friends. Oppositesattractpodcast.com.
There you go. So,
What's up?
today,
Yeah.
do I look like I have a nice tan? Look at this.
You can't see it. Well, now you can. Now that you're freaking showing everybody
What?
your
My
tiggles.
what? My tiggles are covered.
Yeah, you got a little burnt. We went to Sedona for the day.
It was so cool. And it was so last minute. So last night, Miguel and I were just chit-chatting and deciding what we were going to do on today, because normally we have all kinds of stuff going on. And
also last week, I came back from a trip and we had somebody over.
yes.
And then it was like right back to work and, you know.
Yes.
So
and I didn't get to spend a lot of time
Yeah.
with you as well.
Yeah.
So it was really great. We decided, okay, well, you know what? We're going to go to Sedona, which is 2.5 hours away from here.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
We are very much spoiled where we live
Yeah.
because there's so much around us. And that's what you and I were talking about. Like, I don't think I would want to live anywhere else but
Here. Yeah.
here.
Yeah, there's just so much to do.
Yes.
So much to see.
The drive was stunning. And being with you and spending that quality time with you.
Yeah, we went to like a little, what was it, like a little shop? Not a shop. It was like a little display in a parking lot where they had local shops and
Yeah.
they were selling stuff, art. And
I got my necklace.
Yeah. And then after that, we went
There.
for a little hike
Yes.
by one of the real big mountains out there in Sedona.
We have such beautiful flowers and plants here in the desert. When you think of desert,
Yeah.
you don't think like there would be
Or-
so many.
Or Arizona, because a
Yeah.
lot of times people think that it's just the desert,
Right, right.
you know? But you have like the Red Rock Desert, like in Sedona.
Yes. And everything was blooming.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It's important to continue to date one another.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to, even if it's just going out to lunch, say you're at work and you're like, hey, want to meet up for lunch?
Yeah. Then just
You
go
know,
meet
or
up.
do you want to? Yeah. Most couples, after being together for a while, stop dating each other.
Yeah.
I forever want to be your girlfriend.
Yeah. I always want to meet up with you whenever I
right?
get the chance, you know?
Yes. And today it was the entire day. And then after we picked up our nephew.
Yep. And he's spending the weekend with us.
Yes. While we were in, was it Sedona when we started talking about, it's magical, right? When you're driving and you're seeing all the different
The scenery.
sceneries.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so mind blowing, the beauty of Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you and I were having lunch and I was looking at our view and it's just so mind blowing. And I started to think to myself, wow, you know, just thinking back, like I would have never envisioned my life and where it's at today. Like
Yeah.
just sitting in a place of gratitude, knowing where I came from and the mindset that I had back then
Yeah.
of never wanting to get married, not having any kids, and to fully be in that
Yeah.
And not just being that, but having the opportunity to truly feel what unconditional love is in a relationship. Like that true, authentic love that I used to read about in my novels.
Yeah. That's funny.
You know?
Yeah.
Because even though I would tell myself I didn't want that, a lot of my books that I was reading before were romance books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to actually be living that, you know,
cool.
and our family, the family that we've created together, and how much we have grown together. And so I was sitting there and I asked Miguel, I'm like, did you ever think that you would be living life?
Yeah. Like this. And like for a moment, I was kind of thinking, as far as like the relationship, you know, like I've said, this is something that I've always wanted, you know, so I've always kind of had a picture of it. But yeah, like not like living here in Arizona with you, and just the way our relationship is, because I just didn't even know what this was. Like I knew I wanted a family, but I didn't know what this was. You know what I mean? Like to have a family like this. Because I hadn't seen it.
Yes, because
we had to
relationships
we had to create it.
That we were around, like romance, like relationships that we've seen were not healthy.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what led us to where we are today. Because I was asking you that, like, what is it that got us to where we are today?
And that's what got us talking when we were at lunch. We were talking about, you know, when you have like being able to find yourself, like how do you usually, to be able to find yourself, you have to kind of spend some time with yourself, right? You have to kind of like be alone, or at least have alone time to be able to be present with yourself and ask questions about things and think about your past and think about your future and think about why you are the way you are or whatever, right?
Yes, it's
all those things.
Self-reflecting.
Yeah. And a lot of times people get into relationships young, you know, very early. And if that relationship, we were saying, like if it turns into like a toxic relationship where it's more like, because we went through a rough part in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a relationship where you or your partner like do things to deliberately like try to piss each other off,
or to hurt each other,
or to hurt each other's feelings, to try to put each other in a bad mood, because even though like we went through a rough part where we weren't really like the nicest, or like we could have said things better, communicated better in a lot of different ways, but we weren't mean to each other. Like we didn't try to piss each other off.
Right.
We did piss each other off, but we weren't trying to, you know. But there are other relationships where you see the person, it just makes your blood boil, and you want to say something because that's what they do to you. You do that to them. And when it's a relationship like that, it's hard to have those moments to like reflect and find who you are. And if you're in a relationship like that for a long period of time, then you might go for that long period of time without being able to sit with yourself and find out who you are, because you're always in that attack mode or defense mode, right?
Yes.
Like you're trying to protect yourself from the other person, or you're trying to find a dig for them, you know, but you need to like be able to just not think about any of that and just sit with yourself to find out who you are.
Right. I think, and like what you were saying during lunch is that some people get into a relationship at a very young age and they stay together
for a
very long time, even though they know that they're not in a healthy environment or a healthy relationship. Like they stick in it, and then until one day they make the decision, like I can't live like this. Maybe after 20 years, whatever it may be,
or more.
And then the time after, if they give themselves the time alone to be with themselves,
to reflect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
then you can start finding yourself.
Why are you a certain way? Like,
why does this make me angry? Why do I have these triggers?
Right.
What, yeah. And like if you're with somebody for a long period of time, but the reason that we were talking about this, why it all came up, was because like we've also grown a lot together, and we've kind of found ourselves while we were with each other, and it's like, how is it that we could do it? And then we were kind of like trying to put it together and think about it, and it's like, well, no, it wasn't always good. It wasn't always like it was a happy relationship all the time, but there was always love there. And like I said, we were never to the point where we were trying to hurt each other.
Right.
And we would let each other be for, like we've always kind of given each other, it's not like space, because it's not like, I don't feel like I need space or anything like that, but freedom to think and feel however you want to feel. Right.
Freedom to be.
Right.
Right.
But
because I've never been.
But the thing is that, like I said, when I was trying to think about this, not even freedom to be sometimes, because when you were going through your spiritual stuff, I wasn't letting you just be.
That's true. But what I mean by that is I
was questioning everything.
Yeah. But what I mean too, it wasn't like a toxic
right. That's what we were kind of getting back
meaning, at. When you and I, when we're having challenges, I wasn't constantly at you. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't a jealous
or nagging
female. So I wasn't checking your phone. I wasn't, even when we felt disconnected.
Well, but that, like what I'm saying is like sometimes there's like you get into this routine of like as soon as somebody walks through the door, you're starting to talk shit.
Right.
Like there's relationships like that. And ours have never, maybe it gets freaking rough in the house, but you got to give it an opportunity to get rough first, to say something, do something. But it's like some people, it's like as soon as you walk through, it's just the environment, like before you even fucking walk in the door, you know what I mean? You know what you're getting into. It's like, and you got to prepare yourself.
And it also takes.
So if you're in that mode, it's hard to figure out who you are.
Yeah. Because you're just always
on
unconscious. Edge. You're always like in that frame of thought or that frame of mind.
Yeah.
And there's no growth happening. With us, we always had a growth mindset, but one of us had to be the one, like to be the bigger person in order for things to change. Right?
No.
I made the decision to love you to love.
Yeah.
To love you to love. Like for me to be more in tune and more aware of where you're at. Like putting myself in your shoes. Knowing the stresses that you're going through as a man and being that woman to serve you. Which a lot of women are going to like that. Serve him. What the what?
Dang, that reminds me of something that I was just talking to you about, that it was the 50 Cent video that I saw. But it kind of like, because I do remember like a long time ago, I don't have to bring it up or anything, but like anymore. But I do remember, like, we would go through some hard times sometimes, and I would kind of tell you, like, what about the guy? Like, nobody's ever fucking picking up the guy, like,
yeah, I remember,
because the stress is the stress for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, but guys a lot of time will hold fucking everything in: the stress of the bills, the stress of fucking, you know, going out and not having enough time, the fucking, there's shit to do, this breaks, the car breaks, the water heater breaks, and then it's like you're looking at the account and you stress out about stuff, but you have to keep it together for the rest of the family, figure out, do I need to work more overtime or whatever. And I remember, like, I was like, who the fuck, like, backs up the guy when everything is fucking falling apart? Like, that doesn't usually happen. But you know, like that, I don't know if I don't think it was that. I think eventually, like you said, it was a combination of things. But once you were like just overpowering me, you know,
with my
your
love,
like that's when it really started to change. But that 50 Cent video that I was telling you too was kind of like, when you're in it together, it's different, you know, because he was saying that when he was a kid, 50 Cent, his mom was killed when he was 8. So he grew up with his grandparents. And he said that he would see that his grandfather would go to work. And every time he would get paid, he would come home and give his grandmother the check. Mm-hmm. And 50 Cent always kind of looked at it like, why are you always giving grandma the check? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe he was kind of thinking like as a man thing or as like a macho thing. Like, why would you go to work and then come home and give her the check or something like that?
Yeah.
But pretty much what it was like he was giving her the check because he would make the money and give her the check so that she could pay the bills, because he wanted her to know what was going on, because he knew he was working and he knew what the bills were, but he wanted her to pay so that when it came down to like, we have a fancy dinner that we're going to. This is the example he gave. We have a fancy dinner that we're going to. I want to get some black heels. He's like, grandma needs to look fly, so you go get the black heels. But you may not need to get the black heels with the red bottoms on them. You may not need to get, he's like, but my grandfather didn't have to explain anything to my grandmother because she knew.
Yeah.
And they were in it together.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got down that road, but that's what, I was like, that's pretty.
Because that's what it is. It's being in it together. You know, because when we made the decision to become debt free.
And that's a different attitude, because even when shit's not going the best, if that's ultimately the goal, like we're in this together, you figure it out.
Yeah.
Through all the rough shit, right?
Yes. Because, well, you and I, too, just, you know, we know a few, you know, couples that have had a very challenging relationship. And that's what kind of brought everything up. Like, how is it that we are, you know, where we are today? And
that we were able to find ourselves even while we were together. Because it seems like in a relationship that's toxic, you have to get out of the relationship, be by yourself for a while so that you can figure out who you are after years of being with somebody.
Yes.
But for us, we were able to find ourselves while we were together.
Yeah. And it's absolutely amazing while we are on this healing journey. A lot of the times there were things that were popping up for both of us at the same time.
Yeah.
Like we realized, one at the same time. And that's when, you know, when I realized that I had some daddy issues I had to go through, and you realized that you had some things that, you know, you need to
I would
heal
get
from,
pissed off, like why things would trigger me or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But in order to get there,
it's a lot of self-reflection. It's a lot of thinking about
and being open, right? Because some people are just not willing to look in the mirror and take responsibility. Like, I apologize to you. You know what? This has nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with my childhood and things that I need to heal from, and apologizing to you And then right then is when you looked within and then realized why you were getting so upset.
Yeah.
Was because you always wanted a family. This is what you wanted. So how are you, and this is what you're like, how are you telling me this when this is what I always wanted?
Yeah.
But it's just having that open mindset.
Yeah.
So to create that, there has to be the foundation of just love and wanting to work through some things.
Right.
Yeah.
It's cool. It was an
These
awesome...
are the conversations we have off the camera. Like we do have deep conversations.
It was a business lunch.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Look at that.
Because we did talk about the podcast.
Yeah. No, I mean we talk. It's life. It's what it is,
Yeah. Faux show.
But it is awesome to be able to just, kind of the night before plan, like, hey, let's go to Sedona and have lunch out there. And like I said, we checked out some of the little local shops. They had a little display out there. And then we went hiking. Saw a little caterpillar crossing the trail. That was freaking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to our nephew Randy outside. He's here staying the weekend with us. And we were outside bird watching just a little while ago. No. I'm drinking coffee. And I asked him, because Randy is very loving and joyful and laid back, but he's into some crazy not crazy shit, but he likes like scary, like scary movies, or he'll watch stuff that's disgusting, like just
yeah.
I'm like, dude, how can you be so full of love and joy and be so like mellow and then like to watch all this shit?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. He's like, but my heart beats at a slower rate. Like I'm very calm. And I looked at him and he's like, even when I go to the doctors, when they check his like his blood pressure or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they tell him like his heart rate is just very like, And I'm like, that's funny you brought that up. I said, because today when we were at Sedona, I asked your Theo to pay attention to your heart rate. Because, and maybe this is just my hippie self, but in Sedona, there's certain places that you go and you will feel your heart rate pick up a bit because of the energy. And I told him, and I had mentioned that, and I'm like, and not only that, I said, when I came back from India, I noticed a change in my heartbeat, like my heart rate. Like I'm very calm.
Okay.
Do you not agree?
I agree that you're calm.
Yeah.
But you can't just be like, my heart rate lowered since India.
It just feels there's a calmness and a peace about me.
Yeah.
I have recognized just how I can be in a stressful environment, like working out, kickboxing, boxing, jump roping, and I'm still very at peace within. It's hard to explain.
Well, there's experiences that can do that to you, and you probably had those in India.
And that's what I'm sharing.
Yeah. But you're talking about like you're freaking lowering your heart rate, like you're, like
okay.
Maybe
so
you feel
maybe
you're calmer.
You're
calmer in India.
The way I was supposed to.
You went to India and you got
but
the India
that's what
experience.
I meant. Yeah. But when I see Randy, like that's his deal. Like he's just
very chill.
Very chill. How old is Randy? Like
26.
But he looks like he's like 19.
Yeah. He's our little nephew.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very chill place, even though it's busy. It's a busy place. Where we went hiking wasn't very busy. It was actually there wasn't very many people. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I did. I always enjoy myself out there, like in nature and all that. I like it. It's very calm.
Yeah. You seem very calm right now.
I am.
You are. Drink some more coffee.
Oh, man.
Your energy is very low right now. No.
About to fall asleep.
You better wake your ass up.
No. Man, we were supposed to be at Joe Coy today.
Yes.
Right now.
It's okay. We'll be there in November.
They rescheduled.
Yeah. And what was what was going on? What were you?
Because of the Phoenix Suns, they're playing. He was playing where the Phoenix Suns play in that arena, and they are in the playoffs, so they had to reschedule.
There you go.
But we'll see what happens.
So, how is everything going with jiu-jitsu and your training?
It's going good. It's going good. The bad thing.
Is it bad?
Yeah, it's not good. It's definitely not good.
Okay. It is.
What
it is, but go ahead. No.
Yeah, it is what it is. But so Coach the other day had people over that do like body scans. Like they can scan your joints and see what kind of injuries you have. And then they do this thing where they take your blood and they spin it and they take the plasma out of the blood and then they re-inject your body in your injured areas with that blood, and it helps heal whatever injuries you have. It's not cheap and it's not covered by insurance, which also fucking pisses me off. Which is like, why do I pay hundreds of dollars for insurance? Right. And then when I have something that might be able to help me out, because it's true. Like they're saying, if I go to the doctor and I start talking to them about this shit, they're going to want to like cut it open, like surgery, and put a screw in it and like all that. And it's like, that's not what I need. I want to heal it. And there are other things that you can do, but those things aren't covered by insurance. So you just got to pay for it, you know? But anyway, so they scanned parts of my body. Like I mentioned on here a few months back, I hurt my shoulder.
Of your body.
That's right. Damn it. But yeah, so they scanned, like
everything
I said on here.
Everything looked fine last night. No.
But yeah, so they scanned my shoulder, and man, it doesn't look good. The collarbone, like on the right side, you can see the way it's supposed to look, and then you look at the other side, and it's all fucking frayed and blown up, like right in here. But my elbow, same thing. Both elbows are jacked up. And I feel it a little bit more, but it's okay.
Yes.
It's part of the deal. You know what? I think it's like, it's part of the learning process, you know, because at a certain point, it's not like a macho type of thing, but you realize nobody wants to hear anybody fucking bitching all the time. And guess what you get the opportunity to do in jiu-jitsu? You get to bitch because you're getting fucked up all the time. Every time you go, it's a different fucking thing. But I think it's another lesson. Another thing that you learn is like, it's what you suffer in silence. It's one of those things.
You suffer in silence. Have you sat with that?
What do you mean?
I understand what you're saying.
Because
you do talk to me about it.
It's not like that. It's like, it's the complaining type of stuff.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this hurts. Or when you're at work, what do you do when you're at work? Are you fucking complaining all the time? Because there are those people. It's like, just shut the fuck up and get to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of like when you get injured, it's like, oh, this fucking hurts. This fucking hurts. Dude, are we going to fucking roll or what? Shut the fuck up and get to work. That this is life. This is what we do, right? Right. Get to work. Nobody wants to hear anybody bitching all the time. It's just one, I don't know. It might sound kind of rough or whatever, but I think it is one of those things.
Yeah. But too, you want to be aware, because if you're working with someone and this someone is injured, like you want to be aware of the injuries, right?
True. Yes. Yes. And there are, there is a balance to everything.
Right. Because if you're walking in all the time complaining and this and this and that, then yeah, I can see. Like if you're known for that person, then you're known for that person and nobody wants to be around that Charlie Brown person, the person who's complaining all the time.
Well, I'll give you
I
don't know how you can probably try to think of something, how to relate this to life or whatever. But like I mentioned a few months back, like this is literally how it's been going. So a few months back, I hurt my shoulder. Mm-hmm. I was training in jiu-jitsu. I hurt my shoulder. And my shoulder got jacked where I thought I had a broken rib. And I went to go get x-rays. And so that, legitimately, I didn't train for a little bit, I think. Or maybe I still went, but I wasn't rolling. I took some time off from rolling. I had to wait till my shoulder got better. And then when it did get better, I do have to tell my partners. Yes. Like, hey, I have a hurt shoulder over here. So if I like just tap all of a sudden and you don't think it might be because of that or whatever. And don't freaking fall on top of me because that hurts. But then at a certain point, you're kind of in between where you're almost hindering yourself by telling people that I have something wrong with my shoulder because we can't practice to the full extent. And I'm not getting the practice that I should be getting because they're holding back because I'm hurt.
Yeah. How do you work through that?
You have to balance it out. At a certain point, you have to take it upon yourself that I'm not going to tell people anymore. I have to protect myself.
Okay.
But so I hurt my shoulder, and yes, I am telling my partners I hurt myself. But then right after, I go to California on a trip and I twist my ankle and I get a nice fucking bruise just completely around my ankle. And now it's like my shoulders hurt and I twisted my ankle. And so now I'm taping up my ankle. And
Miguel's coming in, taped fingers, taped ankles. Like.
And then, the more you practice, and this is a minor thing, but it happens to everybody, is like once you start practicing for a while, you're gripping, and your knuckles start getting jacked up. They start getting fat. They start getting swollen. And that's why you have to start taping your fingers when you're fighting.
Oh my
your
goodness.
toes get all fat and swollen, and it's hard to press down on the mat and shoot and do certain things when your toes are getting all dislocated and fat and fucked up. But so I get the ankle, and now it's like, all right, no fucking leg locks. So I'm careful with my shoulder. Please, careful with my ankle. And then my fucking fingers. Actually, one of the guys, because black belts are different, like they've seen so much. One guy, he felt blue. I think he felt my finger get caught in his gi, and he said pinky finger, and I was like, oh shit. Like he stopped moving so that he wouldn't fuck my finger up, but he felt that my finger was caught in his gi. Yeah. And but yeah, it got twisted a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think from him, but just from fighting.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that what am I going to do? Like my shoulder, my foot, my toes, my fingers, like.
So listen, okay?
Nobody wants to hear that shit.
Toes, fingers, chest. All right. I can work with that, okay? There's one specific piece.
I get it, babe. Of course.
Where's your button? Press it. No. That you need to keep safe at all times. All right? Got it? No.
This one.
Yes.
As long as that one's safe, you don't give a shit. But no, like, you know what I mean? So at a certain point, you just kind of learn. If it's not serious, just shut the fuck up and just fight. That's just part of the deal.
So crazy. Yeah. Hi, mamas. Hi, baby girl. And we got our dog Niecy here with us.
And I think a lot of times in life, there's shit like that. I don't know if maybe you get on a roll of just complaining about things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think work is probably a pretty easy one to get that way about, especially nowadays where everybody's fucking overworked and not enough people everywhere. I mean, I'm not the only one. I've heard that shit's happening everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you can find just about anything to complain about.
But that's the thing, is like, what are you focusing on?
Mm-hmm.
Are you focusing on complaining about all these fucking little things that are bugging you, or like, how can I fucking still choke somebody the fuck out with my bad elbow? or with my fucked up shoulder. Like I'm going to learn how to fuck people up like this because
Right.
I've seen that people can do it because they do it to me. They're like, oh, my shoulder's fucked up. Before I know it, I'm like, ah, you know, like they're fucking me up with a bad elbow, bad shoulder, whatever. You learn. So it is what it is. Like I said, keep fighting.
Yep. You can either keep complaining or find a solution or another way, another route.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's why, like, sometimes there's something I want to get into.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. But before we do, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. When you guys go to our website, like I said before, you guys can follow all of our social media. You can watch the podcast on Facebook and on YouTube, and you'll get all the clips on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that. You can find all the video clips that we post on there. When you go to our website, you can support the show by clicking the support the show link. When you click that, it'll take you to our Amazon link. And all you got to do is do your regular shopping on Amazon. And then you go to our website, click on that link and check out. And then it helps out the show.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't cost you anything extra. But every time you guys shop through Amazon and use our link, we get a kickback. So thank you.
Also, the resource list.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
that's the first thing that'll pop up when you go to our website.
Right. And what you want to do with that, it's just a resource list, not just, but it has books, videos, podcasts, just all the stuff that we have utilized in order to grow, whether it's our marriage, whether it's parenting or finances, whatever it may be. There's a list of resources that we have personally used that has helped us. Yep. And another way that you can support the show is to go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod, and you can buy us a virtual coffee or a drink. And there's a monthly subscription as well if you would like to go that route.
Yep. That's buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So what I was thinking is, like, you know, a lot of times, and, you know, like you say that I'm very disciplined about stuff like the podcast and jiu-jitsu. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I was taking a shower and it's like the way you see me, like how I'm disciplined, but I am kind of like, if I start something, it's like jiu-jitsu is only a matter of time until I get a black belt. Like, because as much as I could fucking suck, if I keep showing up, it's going to happen. There's no way around it. It could take 20 years, but you keep showing up, it's going to happen. So like the podcast too. I've told you before, like, one guaranteed way for this thing to fail is to quit. You quit, it's over. But there are things that at some point you have to quit. That if you don't quit, something else doesn't happen. Exactly. And I've seen and I've heard that, and like, how do you know? Because, so like an example, I remember this book that we were listening to by Aubrey Marcus. You guys can download it or buy it through Amazon and it'll help us out if you go through our link. But it was, he was talking about how he's the guy that has like the fitness company with Joe Rogan, right? And he, in the beginning, was like really into basketball. Like he wanted to be a basketball player. He was a college basketball player. I think he was pretty good. I don't know if he got injured or whatever, but it's like one of those things where like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, right? Mm-hmm. But then at a certain point, it's like, this is what my whole life was going to be. And I don't know if I'm going to do this anymore. Like that kind of stuff is kind of even crazy. Like, especially for athletes, like football players, where literally that is what their plan was to be. Like, they were going to put their head down and work harder than everybody, but shit happens and you blow your fucking knee out or something. And then your career is done. Now what? Or where you are so dedicated to something, but that's just not what you're supposed to be doing. And it's not going to work for you.
Well, we've been through that a few times.
True.
I have been through that a few times.
Really?
And
you're about to have a sneezing attack, Nisi?
It was
on the podcast?
Very difficult. It's when I joined Legal Shield, which is a multi-level company. I was in that company for 13 years. I felt that was my identity. I was,
right.
wow, that's what I was known as, the Legal Shield rep. Anyone that knew me, legal services, identity theft.
Right.
And I loved it, and I
Legal
was
Shield
good
lady.
at it until I started to feel a shift. And how I became aware was that the passion turned to resentment.
For the work that you were doing?
The passion started to dissipate.
Okay.
I wasn't
Excited.
feeling, the love for what it was, for what I was doing.
Did it turn into like a hassle to do what you were going to do?
Yes. But I was questioning what I was feeling. Like, is it that, I'm getting lazy? Is it that,
okay.
I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm not, I really had to take a hard look in the mirror to figure out, okay, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling this way?
Right.
And I held on to that for a long time, and there was a lot of pain as a result to not letting that go, right?
Yeah.
Like the pain of trying to find the passion, to create the passion.
I don't know if we want to get into this. I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but so you're talking about Legal Shield, which was a network marketing company.
Right.
And anybody that's been in a multi-level company or a network marketing company or whatever, there is a part of the training and a part of the way the recruiting system is set up that it does make it a big part of your identity. And it almost makes it feel like if I'm not successful with this, I may not be successful or some shit like that. Like when you're really in it, it's almost like you can see that it's like you're trying to be, or maybe not trying to be, but that's almost the message that's coming across.
I didn't feel that way. But there are people that feel that way. Or
kind of like the only reason that you're not having success is because you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Or there's something that you're missing.
So it all depends, because I had success in Legal Shield, right? Like I hit the position that everyone was striving for and a step above that.
Right.
My thing was the love of the game. And not only that,
and what you were doing,
but the people that were my friends, having those close connections, those close friendships. And now I'm feeling like I need to move on. So it's almost like divorcing, and that's kind of how like you feel like it's a part of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That now
it's almost like a family that you're divorcing.
Yeah.
Or leaving, like a church.
Yes. Yes.
You see, I told you that, like sometimes you don't like, but there is like a religious almost side to that type of business.
Yeah. And so it took me some time, but I'm telling you, like when God or your higher self, whatever it is that you believe in, is trying to get you to move, because in order for you to get to the next level of personal growth or whatever it is, your journey, your next path, you have to let this thing go at times.
Right.
And that's when the next business came about.
So that's why I wanted to bring it up. So do you think that it was the same type of thing with Trust Inc. also? Because with Trust Inc., there was no recruiting. There was no training. Like, you're the owner. You created it.
Yeah.
And that also, in a way, started becoming your identity. But
totally different.
It's different, right?
Yes, because I recognized the feeling that I had within. Like, God was like, okay, you're done. You're done. Okay. It's time for like I knew something else was coming. I felt like I was going to be a minister. Remember that? Like I knew that there was something I was supposed to be doing that I had not yet stepped into.
Was your identity, did you feel like that was becoming your identity? And that's why you didn't want to, or like,
no.
It's like, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing and I'm getting too deep into this.
No, I knew that it was time to... Or
just kind of slow down and it was time to start doing something else.
Yeah. Immediately I felt like it's time to move on. You proved to yourself that you can create
a business.
Not only that, but make that income, right? Because that's the most income I've ever made was in Trust Inc. that year.
Right. Yeah.
You proved to yourself that you can create a business because Trust Inc. was mine. Legal Shield was not mine.
Yeah, we bought into that business.
Yep. You know, and now it's time for you to do what you were now it's time for you to walk this journey and walk into your purpose. Like that's what I felt. That's what I knew I was supposed, or I knew that was it. So it wasn't as hard to let this go because I recognized the feeling.
Yeah.
Like it's time to move on. There's something that you're supposed to be doing.
It's still not easy though.
No, it's not. It's not, right? Especially, because I have, you and the kids and, it's just like, and I've never been the one. Oh, Sonja's doing something new this year. Do you understand?
Okay.
Do you understand? Some people get into different companies, one after the other, after the other, after the other.
They always got the next big idea.
Right.
But sometimes those people, one of those fucking next big ideas hits.
Well, look at Bill Soroka, who's a dear friend of ours.
Right.
26 businesses later.
Motherfuckers always got the next big idea. And then guess what?
He's got it.
And there was something that I was listening to. And it's one of those things that people don't realize. It's like Donald Trump or like entrepreneurs in general. It's like they fail. Like, oh, so-and-so failed. And they failed again. And they failed at this. They failed at that. But it's like a one-hit wonder on the radio. How many do you fucking need? One.
Right.
That's all I need.
Right.
All I need is one. And it's fucking over. So, yeah this business didn't work out. Right. That didn't work out. I said I was going to do that, and that fucking flopped and failed. But guess what? When that one fucking works out, what are you going to say? Yep. Fucking nothing. And right? That's all you need.
Yes. And in order to get there, though, you really need to know who you are. You really need to know who you are. Because maybe you don't give something enough time. Right? Maybe you're not putting everything on the line.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And if it's something that you're passionate about, like coaching, like it's something, I know that this is where I'm supposed to be, like 100%. Everything that I've done in the past has led me to where I am right now. And I know 100% in my heart and in my soul that this is where I'm supposed to be. And you see it.
Yeah.
And everyone that knows what I'm doing sees it.
So when go ahead.
So even through the challenges, I love what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
What was the difference between going through challenges? Like if you already know, like if you run into a difficult challenge with the coaching business and going through a difficult challenge with Trust Inc., how would the feelings be different?
Oh, with Trust Inc., there's really no attachment to it. It was a business that made money. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It was a business that made money. Coaching is who I am. Like this is
So it's like the business is more personal. It's way more personal.
This is. And what I do is so intimate and so I'm serving at the highest level. And my heart and every part of my being is in this. So for me to do the thing that I need to do in order for me to step into coaching,
right?
Whether it's picking up the phone, making whatever it is, I'm going to do whatever it is that I got to do because this is
what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When with Trust Inc., I'm like, ooh, I don't know about this. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just a way to make money.
With this, there's no question.
Right.
That this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And I think there was something that I was talking to you about.
It's a knowing. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a knowing. It's knowing. And it's hard to explain that, right? Like, it's hard to explain that. Like, what do you mean knowing? It's just like, you know where you're supposed to be. Like there's no doubt. There's no fear. There's no excuses. It's just like, is.
Like you were saying or I don't know if we were kind of getting to it, but when you're doing the type of work that you don't get that resentment towards or that feeling, like it doesn't matter, like you always look forward and you can't see yourself not looking forward to doing that work, you know?
Yes.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, this business, like what I do, it's not just like a business. I'm not doing, and this is going to sound so.
I got something for you.
So like, oh, whatever. But I didn't start my coaching business for the money. I didn't start this for the money.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm a coach is to help save lost souls. Like help people to truly like find themselves and help them to create the life
to fulfill their purpose
that they've always dreamed of.
Yeah.
Whether it's relationship, whether it's parenting, whether it's a career, whatever it is, it's like, what do you want in this life?
That's what you're supposed to do. And it's different for different people, you know, whatever that passion is. Because I remember we were watching a video not that long ago about Aaron Rodgers, and he was talking to this guy, Brandon Marshall. He was a player in the NFL. And he was talking about, like, when you look at all the problems in the world, to be a football player, like, it just seems kind of stupid at a certain point when you're like, I make all this money and I play this game and, like, look at the world that we live in. You kind of start feeling bad or resentment or whatever, you know? But then he was kind of like, he's like, but if you think about the platform that you have and the ability to help people, like to show people what's possible, you know, like you have to have a different perspective, and that changes your purpose. You know, like you like that's what he found was his purpose, was to use the platform that he has to like lift other people up, to be a great leader, to be able to pour into other people on his team, you know, to put that out in the public so people could see stuff like that. You know, like that's what, so whatever that passion is, those are the things that you can't quit. You got to keep pushing on those things. You know,
it's not even you can't quit. You just won't quit.
Right.
You know, you just.
Now, when you have something like that, whether it's coaching, whether it's art, could be acting.
Yeah.
At a certain point, because these are all things that you have to take a risk on. You're stopping one business to start another business. You're cutting back on hours on your job so that you can take a role in something that's not paying a lot. But the longer you take Like like it's almost like you have a mindset, or you can get into a mindset that holds yourself back because you're thinking small, or that you're not capable, or just the negative thoughts that we all have sometimes. And the longer that you have to go through that, the less you're fulfilling your purpose, because that's what you're supposed to be doing.
I was talking to a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when you're talking to someone and you're speaking, and then you hear yourself, and then you recognize the thing that's been holding you back.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking to him, and he's asking me, what is it that I want to create? Right? Like, what is it that you want to create?
Yeah.
Or writing a book, like I started sharing with him my ideas. And he said, well, how much are you wanting to create? And $500,000 came to mind. I'm like, I want to retire my husband. 500,000. That's just the number that came. I said, but it took him a while to pull that out of me. And I said, but I'm not willing to do the thing that I need to do to create that $500,000, because then I would have to recreate my priorities, and my priorities are my priorities. My family is my priority. And in order to make $500,000,
what are you going to have to do?
Exactly. And he said, Sonia, whoever told you had to work so hard? I said, well, I've learned in Legal Shield. We don't go to sleep. We fall asleep.
Right.
He's like,
you fucking fall asleep with paper stuck to your head and shit.
Who in the, like,
Right.
what?
Right.
And I said, and not only that, but every millionaire that I know had to sacrifice time from their family, and I don't want to do that. And right when I said that, I realized that that is a false belief that I've been holding on to.
Yeah.
He said, when you are doing what you're supposed to be doing and serving at the level that you want to serve at, it's going to be created. And it's not going to be as hard as you think it is. And it's not going to take the time that you're thinking that you have to put in.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, it was huge, because I knew that false belief was creating my thoughts and creating the emotion and the results, the actions that I was not taking, because I know that once I make the decision to pick up the phone and call the people that God's leading me to call, that the money is just like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And so what was holding me back from doing that is realizing or thinking that it was going to take time away from you, time away from the kids. And that's just not what I'm willing to do. So I'll settle for $50,000 a year.
Yeah. But that's just what you made up. You made up that it had to be, in order to do this, it was going to be that hard.
Well, because everyone that I know that makes $500,000 a year or more is hiring nannies to raise their children.
And you see, like, yeah, that is the case in some cases, but not in every case. And that's one thing with people, with humans. Like, we get used to, we like patterns and we like things to be a certain way, right? That's why kind of like with the entrepreneur talks that we've had in businesses, and just like we've always kind of had that mindset. But it is true, like a lot of people, they want the job, 40 hours a week with the insurance, with this and that, with the security. But that's just like the way that you're pretty much brainwashed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then it's like, also, if you want to make a crap ton of money, you're going to sacrifice all this other stuff. But then when you really start getting around people that make money, that have money, you start to find out how many ways are there to make money.
Right.
How many? It's infinite. It's infinite. The amount of... Here's a perfect example. Some bullshit we were talking about today that literally could fucking turn into probably millions of dollars.
Should we throw it out there?
I don't give a fuck. Like, go do it.
I know, right?
You go up to Sedona and you get a box of that fucking glittery red sand that is out there. Put it in a little box and sell it for fucking $50. Like, you could dip your toes in it. You can pick it up and hold it. Like, Sonja loves picking it up and running it through her fingers and all that.
I like dirty nails.
So you could either drive your ass up there and go get it yourself, or you could buy this box of sand for $50. And you know what? Some people think that the sand does certain things. Maybe
or
it's
sand
worth
from
more.
India,
or sand from
sand
India.
From,
so you could get sand from beautiful beaches.
Yes.
From just up in the Red Rocks, which is pretty much fucking free. Get a little box that costs a couple dollars, or you could get a nicer box, sell it for more money. And you're just selling, and the boxes could be big enough for you to put your feet in it, so you could put your toes. And you have a little commercial with somebody, they put their feet in the fucking box, and then the water splashes on their feet after that. And it's like, oh, I feel like I'm at the beach. And the sand is from Puerto Rico and the white sand.
This is the stuff we talk about.
But it's a bullshit idea that we just fucking made up.
But is it a bullshit idea?
For sure that could make some fucking money.
Yeah.
If you tried hard enough and you could sell it, there's a market for that.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's no excuses. Yeah. We were just kind of it's infinite. You could just make shit up.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
What do you want to create?
Yeah.
What do you want to create? Yes.
We just hold ourselves back. Right?
Yep.
And it's almost like you're cheating yourself when you're not fulfilling your purpose. You really are. Because you're giving yourself less time doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not going to get as good as you should be because you're not progressing the way you should be. Because no matter what, at the end of life, it's experience. It's all your experiences added up.
Right. Faux show. Did you give out our phone number?
480-331-9846.
Yes.
That one? I'm pretty sure that was it.
So if you guys would like to leave us a comment, a suggestion, or if you would be interested in a gifting session,
480-331-9846.
A 2-hour gifting session, give us a call.
Yeah, 480-331-9846. You can also go to our website, Opposites Attract Podcast. You can click the contact us and we'll get a message if you send us a message that way. Or you can get a hold of us on any of our social media at Opposite Pod. Or you can just search Opposites Attract Podcast in the search bar on all the social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that.
All that good stuff. All right.
So, yep.
There you go.
I had an awesome date with you, babe. We got to do that again.
Yeah.
Continue to date your partner, your spouse.
Sure. For sure. It's very important.
Yep.
Keep it spicy. Keep it hot.
That's right. We're about to go keep it hot. And with that, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like I said before, share it with the people that you know. That's how the podcast grows. We really appreciate when you guys do that. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast.
Where we get better
together.
Bye.